The benefits of being a world champion are numerous. One of them is the ability to outplay your rivals in any opening. Let's look at the Carlsen-Vakadov game from the 2018 Rapid Chess Championship. e4, e5. No Spanish or Italian this time. Carlsen played the amazing Queen h5, bringing His Majesty on the battlefield on move 3. The majority of chess players are aware that it is inadvisable to move the queen in the early stages of the game. Carlsen most likely learned about this over his lengthy chess career. However, let's find out what he has in mind. Knight c6, bishop c4 immediately threatens mate on f7. It's very unusual to see this in a high-level game. Of course, Carlsen was not hoping for knight f6 and queen takes f7 checkmate. His opponent is too strong to fall into this little trap. g6, attacking the queen and defending against mate. Queen to f3, threatening mate on f7 once again. Queen g4 is a least appealing square, in view of the move d5, simultaneously attacking the bishop and the queen. Queen e7, defending f7. Knight e2, to stop the knight from advancing on d4, attacking the white queen on f3. Both sides continue to develop. We have knight f6, d3, bishop g7 and knight to c3. Castling immediately is inaccurate. White replies with bishop g5, and the pin on the f6 knight is decisive. On h6, attacking the bishop, knight d5 wins the f6 knight, which is attacked 3 times and defended only twice. Black plays the cautious h6, preventing bishop g5. Knight d5, knight takes d5 and now e takes d5 attacks the black knight, but also weakens white's pawn structure. But the world champion has a plan in mind. Bishop takes d5 is also possible, and after black castles, the game is even. Knight f5, moving the knight away and harassing the bishop. Carlsen played a strong positional move in this position. I invite you to pause the video if you want to find it. The move is d6, sacrificing a pawn. C takes d6. First of all, black can recapture with the queen because she has to defend f7. Queen takes d6 leads to queen takes f7 check, king d8, queen takes g7 with a big disaster for black. To understand this pawn sacrifice, you have to look at the poor bishop on c8. The pawns on c6 and d6 stop it from entering the game through this diagonal, and developing along the other one is impossible, since b6 will lose the rook to queen captures a8. Knight c6, bringing the knight back into the game. Bishop d2, queen f6. It's a good idea for black to propose this trade since he is up a pawn. Queen e4 by white, of course not interested in exchanging queens being down in material. Black castles, white does the same. Knight e7, attacking the d5 bishop. Carlsen doesn't move the bishop but supports it with knight c3. Black plays queen f5, insisting on exchanging the queens. Capturing the bishop by knight takes d5 will only replace it by an even more powerful piece after knight takes back on d5. Queen b4, attacking the weak d6 pawn. Knight takes d5, finally getting rid of the bishop. Knight takes d5, threatening the deadly knight to e7, forking the king and the queen. King h7, moving the king away. Knight c7, rook b8 and queen takes d6. The world champ ultimately regained the pawn and even got a clearly better position according to the engine. After b6, we arrive at a critical position in the game where Magnus faulted. Feel free to pause the video if you want to play a stronger move than the world champion. Carlsen played f3, missing his chance to win. The key was to exploit the alignment of the queen and the black rook along the same diagonal. Then a knight-discovered attack comes to mind, with 2 most likely options. Knight e6 or knight e8. Knight e6 looks winning, attacking the 2 rooks simultaneously. But after queen takes e6, queen takes b8, queen c6 and queen takes a7, black has a vicious trap. Black plays bishop b7, threatening mate on g2 and also threatening to trap the queen with rook a8. Black cannot defend and consequently is losing. Knight e8 was the right knight move, also attacking the b8 rook. After rook moves, knight takes g7, king takes g7, and the nice tactic bishop takes h6 check. King takes h6. Queen takes f8 check, winning decisive material. Back to the game. Black played bishop b7, connecting his rooks and avoiding any future discovery by the knight. Now the game is equal according to the engine. We have rook a1, rook fc8, bishop c3. A big oversight from Carlsen. Put the video on pause if you want to find the winning move for Black. Black, being an international master after all, finds bishop f8, which is winning. Black attacks the queen, which has to move and protect the c7 knight at the same time. Carlsen decided to give up his queen with knight b5. Queen takes e5 doesn't help either. After queen takes e5, bishop takes e5, d6 attacks the bishop and disconnects it from the knight. After, let's say, bishop d4, Black wins the knight. Back to the game. Black gains the queen with bishop takes d6. We have knight takes d6 with a fork, queen e6, knight takes c8, grabbing the exchange. Rook takes back on c8, and rook takes e5, winning a pawn. Carlsen still tries to fight back by taking as many material as he can in exchange of the queen, but still he is completely lost. Rook fe1, bringing the rook in the game. Rook c5, exchanging pieces. Now the result of the game is not in doubt. After a few more moves, the world champion finally resigned. The early queen sortie with queen h5 almost worked, but unfortunately for Carlsen, when it mattered, his opponent didn't blow his opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time.